I used to think dogs were just wolves that accepted free rent, which sounds fair and deeply disrespectful. Then I looked closer, and honestly, the story got way weirder than wolf became roommate. Because when you compare a normal domestic dog with a gray wolf, one thing keeps jumping out. The dog's body grows up, but part of the puppy software just refuses to uninstall. That does not mean wolves never play as adults, because nature is not that clean and dramatic. But a wild wolf has a very different job description once survival becomes the main boss fight. It has to hunt, defend territory, read danger, save energy, and avoid becoming somebody else's bad day. Meanwhile, your dog can be 10 years old and still emotionally auditioning for kindergarten after you open the door. Tail going crazy toy in mouth, eyes sparkling like rent was paid entirely in tennis balls. And humans look at that and go, "Aw, my baby," which is adorable and also scientifically suspicious. Because the question is not just why dogs are friendly or why they still act playful. The better question is, why so many domesticated animals look like their childhood got extended by customer support. Scientists use the word Neoteny for this, which sounds like something a lizard would sell online. Normal person version adult animals keep some young animal traits turned on longer than expected. So the body becomes adult enough to function, but not fully committed to the serious adult package. Basically, the animal grows up, but the baby settings stay in the settings menu like malware. And once you notice this in dogs, you start seeing the same suspicious update everywhere. Look at a wolf, then look at many domestic dogs, especially the ones bred around human life. The dog often has a rounder face, softer expressions, less reactive aggression, and a weird amount of social trust. Again, not every dog is harmless, and not every wolf is a movie villain with background music. But the broad pattern is real enough to make biology look like it accidentally invented plush toys. Humans did not sit down thousands of years ago with a whiteboard labeled Operation Make Puppy Forever. Most likely, humans kept tolerating the animals that tolerated humans, which is already a very low-budget business plan. The wolves that stayed near camps without instantly choosing violence had access to scraps, safety, and opportunity. The humans also benefited because an alert, cooperative canid is basically a living security system with ears. So, over many generations, the less panicky, less bitey, more people-readable animals had a better deal. And that is where domestication stops being a cute pet story and starts becoming suspiciously powerful. Because when you select for calmer behavior, you do not only get calmer behavior neatly packaged alone. Biology is not an online store where you add friendly temperament and remove everything else at checkout. Traits travel together sometimes like a messy bundle of features nobody asked to organize properly. So the animal gets friendlier and suddenly the ears, face, skull hormones, colors, and behavior may shift too. Scientists call this domestication syndrome, which sounds like a disease you catch after buying too many pet beds. Normal version selects the less aggressive animals long enough and the body starts shipping bonus cute DLC. This is why domesticated mammals often show softer faces, smaller teeth, floppy ears, patchy colors, and more juvenile behavior. Not all traits appear in every species, obviously, because biology loves exceptions like a comment section loves arguments. But the pattern is common enough that researchers have spent decades trying to explain why tameness changes the whole animal. There is a deeper biology rabbit hole involving neural crest cells, which already sounds like a wizard ingredient. The simple version is that early development can affect many body parts at once, not just attitude. So when selection keeps rewarding calmer nervous systems, the rest of the body may get dragged into the update. That is the polite scientific explanation. The disrespectful explanation is that humans kept choosing less bitey and evolution bundled it with baby face accessories. And once that idea lands, dogs stop looking like wolves that became lazy. They start looking like wolves that were socially redesigned to survive inside the human nonsense zone. Think about it, a wolf must treat the world like a high-stakes strategy game. A dog treats the world like the group chat is always open and someone might drop snacks. The dog watches your face, your voice, your schedule, your sadness, your shoes, and sometimes your sandwich. Very loyal, slightly invasive. But that social nosiness is part of the magic dogs became extremely tuned to human signals. They can follow pointing read routines, beg professionally, and perform emotional customer service with almost no training. This is not evolving backward. That phrase sounds cool, but it is biologically kind of messy. Evolution does not have a forward and backward button like a broken remote. It only has what survives here and what gets rewarded long enough to leave descendants. In the wild, being too trusting can get you deleted from the server. Near humans, being calmer, cuter, and more socially readable could become a career path. So dogs are not failed wolves. They are wolves' weird cousin who got hired by the human department and never fully left puppy mode. Now, if dogs are the cute example, pigs are, where the story loses a lot of dignity. A wild boar is not a farm animal in spirit. That thing is a forest boss with tusks and serious legal energy. Long snout, sharp canines, thick neck, strong body, and a personality that does not need your approval. If a wild boar enters the scene, nobody says, "Look, a chunky little friend." People say, "Why is the forest filing a lawsuit with teeth?" But domestic pigs are different. They often have shorter snouts, rounder bodies, softer faces, floppier ears, and much lower drama around humans. Again, domestic pigs are still powerful animals, and disrespecting one is a fantastic way to meet physics. But compared with wild boars, the whole vibe has clearly been edited for human management. Humans selected animals that were easier to handle, easier to breed, easier to feed, and less likely to start chaos. And the result was not just a calmer boar. It was a whole new package. Body shape, changed behavior, changed, and the skull started looking less like a weapon. Different animal, same suspicious update. The less aggressive version gets rewarded, and the adult body keeps more soft juvenile looking traits. This is the part where the dog owner and the pig farmer accidentally become character designers. Nobody asked for floppy ear DLC specifically, but apparently it came with a low bite subscription plan. And then the story gets uncomfortable because some scientists think humans might belong in this roast too. This is called the human self-domestication hypothesis, and yes, the name already sounds personally insulting. It does not mean aliens domesticated us, and it does not mean humans are just pets with taxes. It means our own social world may have rewarded people who could cooperate, control aggression, and read other humans better. In small groups, the person who turned every snack dispute into a murder side quest probably became everyone's problem. Not exactly a great neighbor. Not ideal for long-term cave community vibes. So groups may have favored people who could negotiate, share bond, joke, learn, and not explode instantly. Over huge stretches of time, that kind of social selection might have shaped our bodies and behavior. Compared with some earlier human relatives, modern humans often have flatter faces, smaller brow ridges, and smaller teeth. We also show long childhoods, intense social learning, curiosity, play imitation, and a suspicious talent for nonsense. Basically, the ape grew a giant brain and then used it to make memes about going to work. Very advanced species. No notes. Of course, the human version is still debated because science is not a YouTube comment yelling confirmed. Some researchers support the self-domestication idea. Others think the story needs more caution and better evidence. So the safest way to say it is this: humans may show some domestication-like patterns. Reduced reactive aggression, more social tolerance, flatter faces, longer learning, and more playfulness are all part of the discussion. But we should not turn that into humans are baby apes like it is a final courtroom verdict. It is a hypothesis, not a finished Netflix documentary with dramatic music. Still, the comparison is too funny to ignore, because dogs act like wolves that kept puppy settings. Pigs look like boars that got farm-friendly edits. And humans might be apes that socially punish the worst rage mode users until cooperation became the better strategy. That is not exactly flattering, but it explains why humans can be terrifyingly smart and also deeply unserious at the same time. We build cities, study galaxies, invent mathematics, and then spend 10 minutes arguing with a printer. We have adult bodies, ancient instincts, social brains, and a permanent need to play with something. Games, jokes, gossip, music, stories, sports comments, toys, hobbies, collectibles, drama, ranking systems, fake internet points. Human adulthood is basically a serious job interview happening inside a playground with Wi-Fi. And this is where the evolving backward idea falls apart. Keeping juvenile traits does not mean a species is going backward. Sometimes keeping flexibility, curiosity, playfulness, and social softness is exactly what makes the species successful. A baby-like face can reduce threat. Play can build social bonds. Curiosity can help learning. Less reactive aggression can make cooperation less impossible, which is useful when everyone has rocks and opinions. So the same traits that look childish from one angle can become survival tools from another angle. That is why dogs fit human homes so well. That is why domestic pigs became manageable enough for farming even if they still have chaos hidden in the hardware. And that might be one reason humans became the species that learns forever and refuses to log off. So no dogs, pigs, and humans are not evolving backward. They are examples of how evolution sometimes rewards softness, social tolerance, and extended youth-like traits. Not because nature loves cuteness. Nature does not care if something is cute. But if cute, calm, playful, and readable helps an animal survive around humans, then cuteness suddenly has a job. That is the real plot twist. Not weak animals became baby versions. More like the world changed, the rewards changed, and youth-like traits became useful in adult life. The wolf did not fail. The dog found a new market. The boar did not become morally better. The pig got redesigned by thousands of years of please do not stab the farmer. And humans did not simply become softer because softness is pretty. We may have become softer because cooperation learning and emotional control helped the group survive. Which is beautiful until you remember we used that gift to invent meetings. Still, the pattern is kind of wild. Select for docility long enough and behavior starts pulling the body along with it. Reward calmer animals long enough and the face may soften. Reward social tolerance long enough and the brain may become better at reading the room. At the end of the day, domestication is not just humans changing animals. It is a feedback loop where animals change around humans and humans maybe change around each other. So your old dog still wagging like a puppy is not just being silly. That wag is a tiny living fossil of a huge evolutionary bargain. Less wolf rage, more couch friendship. Less survival boss fight, more squeaky toy economy. And somehow, after all that biology, the dog still wants you to throw the ball one more time, which is ridiculous. And honestly, probably the best argument evolution ever made.